What's up, guys? So today we're taking a look at the best pre-built gaming PCs for under $1,000 in February 2024. And as you can see behind me, we have the top three. And we've had some changes over the last couple months because there's been some new players added to the game, as well as some different deals, some different GPUs entering this segment. So overall, it's a really, really exciting time if you're looking for a $1,000 pre-built. So after scouring the web for the best deals at this $1,000 price point, I mean, searching everything from Amazon to Best Buy to Newegg to NZXT, Build Redux, Main Gear, so many different websites. These are the top three builds that you can get your hands on right now, with a small caveat for our number one build. But we'll get to that in a second. First things first, we're going to start off with our third best build under $1,000. And that is the NZXT Player 1 PC. So we're getting the Player 1, but it's not the base Player 1 with the RTX 3050. We made one small upgrade to the GPU to get ourselves an RTX 4060. So this Player 1 build comes in at $949, and it comes with an i5-12400F. So it is a couple generations old at this point. The other two computers are rocking newer i5s from Intel, but still pretty competitive with 6 cores and 12 threads. No integrated graphics, but you don't need those because we get the RTX 4060, along with 16 gigs of DDR5 running at 5200 megahertz, which is also a unique selling point for this NZXT PC. None of the other builds come with DDR5. So we're rocking the newest generation of RAM, but the oldest generation of CPU when it comes to these three builds. And the DDR5 is probably not going to have that crazy of an impact on an i5-12400F, just being completely honest. So even though we are getting that DDR5, it's most likely because NZXT is just buying it in bulk and using it in all of their pre-builds versus like actually needing it for the performance of this PC. But overall, still nice to have if you ever did want to upgrade the system down the line, throw in a newer generation CPU, 14th gen most likely, then you could probably take advantage of the DDR5 memory and the newer generation motherboard that comes with this computer. And then we're also getting a 500 gigabyte NVMe SSD and a 650 watt power supply. And that power supply is perfect for being able to make those upgrades that we just talked about. You could definitely upgrade the CPU, get a more power hungry CPU like an i7, possibly even an i9, more likely an i7 just because you're still rocking that 4060. But if you wanted to do a GPU and a CPU upgrade, you probably could with this 650 watt power supply. Maybe get a 4070 or 4070 Super and an i7. The other really nice thing about this NZXT pre-built is that it comes with a 2-year parts and labor warranty, whereas the other two builds in this $1,000 segment come with just 1 year parts and labor warranty. So that is a nice selling feature for this NZXT build. But we'll get to the end and see how everything kind of compares and contrasts between the three builds and why this one comes in at number 3. But jumping to number 2, we have our SkyTech Nebula gaming PC. And this has always been, for probably like the last 6 months, at the top of the leaderboard when it comes to sub $1,000 gaming PCs on this channel. It's extremely hard to beat, coming in at just $849.99. You get an i5-13400F, so one generation newer version of the NZXT build when it comes to the CPU. We're getting an RTX 4060 and then 16 gigs of 3200 megahertz DDR4, which again, that probably makes the most amount of sense for this level of CPU, but if you did want to upgrade a system down the line, then you're stuck with DDR4. Now, for the storage, we're getting a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD, so an additional 500 gigs compared to the NZXT build. And when it comes to the power supply, we're going 600 watt, 80 plus gold certified. So very, very similar to the NZXT build. RTX 4060s in both, a 1 generation newer version of the CPU, DDR4 versus DDR5, and 50 watts less on the power supply. So overall, you're getting the same system with a slightly newer CPU for $100 cheaper. And that's always why the SkyTech build is at the top of the list. $100 off compared to pretty much every other build out on the market that has an i5 and a 4060, and you're still getting, pretty good looking aesthetics on this build. It's definitely not an NZXT caliber when it comes to the case. Like, you're not getting an H5 case or the NZXT level of kind of aesthetics, but it still does look really, really nice with the SkyTech PC. So that is our second best build under $1,000. And now it's time to get to number one. And this is the one with that small caveat when I said it's available right now. So it's currently out of stock on Amazon, but you can order it now. And as soon as it's back in stock, it will ship. But here we have the Thermaltake LCGS Quartz, the i460 TR4. And overall, this is a pretty new level of system to the market. Like, Thermaltake just started coming out with these pre-built systems, their LCGS lineup. They have a whole series of systems from this price point all the way up to like $2,500, $3,000, rocking like RTX 4080 Supers and stuff like that. But this is a really, really interesting PC because it's the only PC out on the market right now, only pre-built, under $1,000 that comes with a 4060 Ti. So in terms of the CPU, you're getting the same i5-13400F that's in the SkyTech, but we're getting an RTX 4060 Ti. We're getting 16 gigs of DDR4, but running at 3600 megahertz instead of 3200 megahertz like the SkyTech. So again, like DDR4 is perfectly fine for this level of i5. If you did want to upgrade, you're stuck with DDR4, but it's not that expensive to upgrade to maybe slightly faster DDR4. If you wanted to upgrade to DDR5, then you're going to have to get a new motherboard. So overall, yeah, maybe that's a slight drawback having DDR4 versus DDR5 like NZXT, but we'll come back to that at the end. We're also getting a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD and a 600 watt 80 plus gold power supply. So everything is the exact same as our SkyTech, but it's $150 more, coming in at $999.99, but you're getting a 4060 Ti. So now it's really like, is it worth a 4060 Ti over a 4060 for $150 difference? In my opinion, yes, just because you can really get, closer to like a 1440p system instead of a high 1080p system with a 4060 Ti compared to a 4060. Overall, the 4060 Ti definitely didn't perform as well as people expected when it first launched. Still not like the best of the best when it comes to 1440p. It would be really nice to get a 4070 at this price point, but you definitely can't do that. But under $1,000, this is the only PC out there where you can get a 4060 Ti. So in terms of these three PCs, it was really difficult to kind of rank them out because the NZXT, you're getting like really, really nice components. The case is great. Cooler's really good. All the components are, that NZXT level of aesthetic and look in terms of a gaming PC. But for $950, like, sure, that's kind of average when it comes to a 4060 and an i5. And you're getting one generation old CPU. The SkyTech is obviously like beating out the NZXT. Maybe aesthetics it loses out, but for $100 less, you can't say no to like, yeah, sure, just go spend like extra $70 on an NZXT H5 case, swap all the components into there. Then you have pretty much the same build that you're getting from NZXT, but you have it at a much cheaper price point. Now, you are getting 1 year less on the warranty compared to NZXT, so that's something else to consider, but I still feel like for $100 less, just makes more sense to put the SkyTech ahead of NZXT. And when it comes to the Thermaltake, yes, this is a newer brand to the market, but to get this level of hardware with the 4060 Ti and the 13400F, it's just too hard to beat to not put at number one. So these are the top three builds of 2024 when it comes to pre-built under $1,000. But definitely stay tuned for some future updates as we progress throughout the year, because this will most likely change as more and more systems hit the market. AMD and NVIDIA release new GPUs. Intel and AMD release new CPUs. So definitely stay tuned because there definitely will be some updates to this $1,000 pre-built lineup as the year goes on. So definitely get subscribed so you don't miss those. But if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one.